Hey guys, welcome back to Good Stuff for You. We're making good stuff for you. So today I'm kicking off my One Direction week because I'm going to be reviewing all their new stuff that they put out, all the EPs and stuff. I think they have 4 of them. They got the remixes, acoustics, lives, and the rarities. Ooh. So today we're going to be reviewing the remixes of it. So they had 14 total remixes on this new EP. So we're just gonna go through every single one of them, just kind of talk about it a little bit, what I like, what I didn't like, give them just a ranking of a scale of 1 to 100, 100 being the best, 0 being the worst, and basically give my final review of the album. We're not gonna do anything like points per minute or points per song, just because this is kind of like an obscure almost. So the first one is Gotta Be You, Steve Smart and West Funk remix. I didn't like it that much. I'm just gonna be straight up with you guys. My knee-jerk reaction as soon as it started was, this is absolute crap. I didn't like it at all, just because it was changing up so much of a song. I'm not a huge fan of Gotta Be You to begin with, so then once you got all this like club music almost too, it kind of really messed it up even more for me. They really just speed up the talking, or the singing I should say, with the members, and I didn't like that at all. Like, I see it in your eyes, your disappointment, cause I'm the foolish one that you anointed with your heart. I tore it apart and go what a mess I made upon your innocence. And I'm like, oh my god, I cannot stand this at all. But the good things about it, it did have some good beats in it, which I did like a lot. But because of the beats and the singing and everything, it is a gigantic song. Like, it is so long. It takes forever. It's over 6 minutes long, and I don't want to hear 6 minutes of them singing really fast. I gave that one a 37. Okay, I probably got to speed this up. Gotta Be You, Mojam remix. It's a little better than the previous one. I gave this one a 43. Again, the speeding up talking, I'm not a fan of. I did like, though, that it sounded more like the original song, which I'm a fan of personally, and also it wrapped up a lot quicker, which is a lot better for me personally. But overall, I didn't think it was that great. The changes weren't that spectacular that it did make. It was fine, though, a little bit better, but a 43, so still not good. Next up was Live While We're Young, Dare On Day remix. And this one I gave a 62, so this is the first positive one. The big issue for me was the intro took forever. It was like a minute-long intro, which I didn't like at all. And then after that, it still sounds like the song a lot, which is really good, but it also changes up a lot of it too. It does still have kind of like the dance club music style to it, which I really appreciate that it changed it up a little bit at least. But I also feel like for some reason Live While We're Young had so much more potential than what they did with the song, specifically in the chorus. Like, I hear the chorus and they don't change it up, or not in the right way, I feel like, than what could have been possible, because I feel like Live While We're Young is just a song that could so easily be remixed. Speaking of Live While We're Young, we got another one of that by this one, the Jump Smokers remix. This one I gave a 56, so slightly worse than the other one, because it didn't make a lot of changes, and the chorus, the end of the chorus though, it switches up to like nothing really changes and everything else, but then the end of the chorus, it just goes extremely like, you know, whatever, like club, dance, hip, or whatever. But again, this one just missed potential too, I feel like. I feel like Live While We're Young, they could have done so much more with it, just because to me it sounds like a song that could really easily be remixed into something like really, really good. So I just feel like it was missed potential there, so that's why I gave it a 56. Next up was Kiss You by Shirake. I don't know how to pronounce that, but I gave this one a 51, so a little bit above average. I didn't like it because they turned down like the singing so much. Like, the singing was super quiet and it just didn't bring the energy for me at all, and it slowed it down a little bit, which wasn't spectacular. But in the chorus, they had this thing that I really like, where it's kind of like, you know, the pulse, where it's like boom and kind of like stops everything else except for the pulse, which I thought was really good. And also the drop, like beat drop or the bass drop after the chorus was also really good, which I liked a lot. But again, the energy for me was just really lacking in this song, so that's why I had to knock it down to a 51. Next up, this is the first song of the EP that I was like, wow, this one is really good. This one is the Best Song Ever remix by West Funk and Steve Smart. This one I gave a 72, mainly because it sticks with the song really well, like it sticks with the core of it, but it also has some really good changes in it. For example, when it goes into the chorus, it still does the which it doesn't do at the beginning of the chorus, and it kind of like builds up as soon as like the second verse starts, which I think is really good, and I really like that a lot. It keeps the same vibe of the song like I said earlier, but it also makes some really good changes to it, so it's not just like a carbon copy of the original song, which I really appreciated. And also it has that same kind of pulse that I mentioned before in Kiss You, just kind of like boom, you know, for the chorus, which I thought was really good. My only complaint with it though was it didn't do enough for me. Like, I appreciate that they weren't trying to do like a ton, but I think they could have done a little more. But overall, I thought it was very good. That's why I gave it a 72. Next up was another Best Song Ever by the Jump Smokers. So this is the second time I've heard them. This one, it's a lot more of like a club feeling to it. Like, it's got more to it. And also the chorus, it keeps a really, in this one part, it keeps a really good beat with the singing. Like, it just hits this beat like every single time with the singing, which I really thought was, I really appreciated it a lot. I thought that was really good. Oh, I don't know if I mentioned this. I gave this song a 65. My big complaint with this song though, is it transitioned from being like the song like very similarly to doing a complete 180 into this like club like I would have appreciated it if they just did the same thing throughout. And also my other huge complaint is they just completely cut Louis' part out of it. Like completely, like the I know, you know, I'll remember you, and I know, you know, I hope you know, whatever. They completely cut that part, which I didn't like at all, because I love Louis and I think he's the best member personally, but I do not like how they cut that. Next up was another Best Song Ever, so they had 3 remixes from this, and this was by the remix by Cat Crazy with K's on instead of the C's. This one's good. It's slightly better than the previous one, but not as good as the first one. I like that it did keep the original song again with it. I think the 3 Best Song Ever remixes did a really good job with keeping the same general vibe and feel of the song, which I thought was really good. And my huge thing that I thought was really cool and really unique is it kept on adding different layers and different instruments. Like, it had strings, it had things that sounded like marimbas, and at this one point it added a hint of like bells, which I thought was really good, and the layering just fit really well. But this one, it just felt a little lackluster. That's why I had to give it a 67. Did I say that? Did I say 62? I gave it a 67. Because just it felt a little lackluster. I thought it had really good ideas, but I think it just could have built on it a little more. It had a good base to work with, but I feel it wasted that good base a little bit. Good idea, a little bit of wasted potential. Next up was the You and I remix by Big Payno, who I think is Liam Payne, I believe. That's like his name or whatever when he does like producing remixes and stuff like that. This one I gave a 63. It was pretty good. It kept the same feel of the song, which I do appreciate in these types of remixes. You could instantly identify that it was You and I. It had a really good jam to it. And when it did have these club parts to it, like the dance parts to it, it did interrupt it with a little bit of singing, which kind of chopped it up, which you can either like that or you cannot like that. I personally like that. My main complaint with this song, though, is it played it safe the whole entire time. This is the safest remix, in my opinion, of the whole entire album. It did not change up a lot. Like I said, it kept the song very similar. And then when they did add that dance music to it, it added the singing still to keep the same song, which is my main complaint. I thought they played it a little too safe, but overall I thought it was pretty good though, so that's why I gave it a 63. Next up, Steal My Girl remix by 8890's Raiders of the Lost Ark. I don't know what the Raiders of the Lost Ark part is about. I don't know. I did not like it at all. I gave it a 29. This was by far my least favorite off of the album. I can't even tell that it's the song. In the first like minute and a half, it's got this like I didn't even know how to describe it. It's not that good. But this one, its chorus was really bad too. It didn't have that disoriented feel, but it just wasn't a very good chorus. It had this club mixes and stuff, and then the weird thing about this song is it went straight to singing, like just pure singing, to club, like instantly. It was like boom, boom. I did not like it at all. I would just skip this one personally. Next up was Steal My Girl remix by Big Pano and After Hours Pool Party remix. This one is a long song and it drags out. It's over 5 minutes long, and just when you think it's about to be done, like it stops music completely and then it adds more, and it's like 40 extra seconds that you just don't need at all. The beginning is weird and I don't like it. It has none of the verses like at all. It just has this weird version of the chorus, and at the times when it has the normal chorus, like I said previously, it had that weird disoriented like everybody wanna steal my girl. Not good. Not a fan at all. I gave this one a 39. I didn't like it particularly. I thought the Steal My Girl remixes combined were the worst ones, closely followed by the Gotta Be You remixes. Not a fan. I just skipped the Steal My Girl altogether. But then One Direction comes back swinging with the Night Changes remix by After Hours. This one is really good. It's got a great intro. The chorus is really, really good. And it has the right amount of change, but the change isn't like huge. It keeps the very, very similar vibe of it. And it also has that cool pulse thing that I like a lot when it goes to the chorus. But again, similar to You and I just feel that it's playing a little bit safe. That's why I had to knock it down to a 68 rather than a little bit higher. But overall, this one's very good. It's enjoyable to listen to, but it just is a little too safe and a little too late, basically. But the stuff that it did do was good. Next up was my personal favorite by far. This one I gave a 78, and this is the Drag Me Down remix by Big Pano and After Hours. This one is spectacular. It really completely changes it up from all the other remixes. It has this other guy who I looked up, I was like Lunch Lewis or something like that, and he completely changes it up. He does like some rap at the beginning and a little bit in the middle, and it is really, really good. It completely changes it up completely, and I absolutely loved it. It was a really cool touch to it, and the rapping like fit perfectly in with the song because it was talking about like dragging me down, you know, or whatever, and it was great. I loved it a lot. Not to mention, in addition to that, the changes up in the song created it like really jamming compared with the song that it already is. You take a great song and you add these really jamming beats to get it more like a remix, like a dance remix, you know, and everything works really, really well in this song. Like I said, I gave it a 78. This one I loved. This is the one where after I had listened to the whole entire EP, you know, to make this video and stuff, I listened to this song again just because this is the one that I really, really like. They did a really good job with this one, a 78. Next up, they ended kind of weak though. Perfect remix by Matoma. This one I gave a 46. I'm not a fan of the beginning. It's kind of like a marimba sounding sort of deal, and it keeps that exact same vibe throughout the whole entire song, and it doesn't work for me at all. It does not change it up at all. It just sounds like they're singing with some background included, basically. And it adds a little bit of like the remix stuff that you're kind of looking for, like the dance and club or whatever, but it just doesn't work at all. It's not enough change. It's way too safe, and the safeness doesn't pay off in this situation. I have to give it a 46. So my overall thoughts on this EP, as someone who really likes One Direction a lot, I kind of didn't like it. But at the same time, I thought it was necessary to listen to. You know what I'm saying? I didn't like it because it changed up the songs that I had already known to like a lot, you know, and it completely throws it all for a loop. Sometimes that can be like really exciting to listen to this new kind of thing and listen to a song from a completely different angle or perspective, if you would. But a lot of these missed the mark for me personally. It took songs that I like and completely flipped it on its head. And like I said, a lot of them really missed the mark. So you had a couple that were really good. For example, all the Best Song Ever remixes were actually pretty quality. And the Drag Me Down remix I thought was absolutely fantastic. I think it's good to listen to if you're a One Direction fan, but if you are a fan and you're a big fan like me, be prepared to kind of be shook up. And I'd give it 2 listens personally, because the first time you're like, oh my God, how could they do this to such beautiful One Direction songs? But then the second time you listen to it, or even the third time, you start to appreciate it a little bit more for what it was. So I do recommend listening to it just for the purpose of listening to it. But if you are a big One Direction fan, be prepared to listen to the songs that you already like in a completely different light. It's nothing like the songs by One Direction that came before it. But overall, I think it was a good experiment that kind of missed the mark for me personally. So I hope you guys had a really fun time watching the video. I had a fun time making to it and listening to this music. Make sure to come back tomorrow and I will be doing the live EP. I'll be listening to the live music for that. So make sure to tune into that tomorrow. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends and family. I would really, really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. Stay good and we'll see you soon.